All right, again, welcome to the Ranger Up podcast where we're always striving and we never settle. We're here with the big head ball coach, Coach Clark, and we're also here with a very special guest, somebody that you don't see often. You may hear of him, you may know of him. He's the man behind the camera most of the time. He's the one that does all of our editing. He does a lot of posting on our social media pages. He keeps me and Coach Clark young. He keeps us relevant. He's even taught me how to post on Instagram. The one and only Jarvis Elder, aka Slash. Coach Clark, you got your man next to you. How'd you pull this off? How'd you keep him from all those other teams that wanted him this year?
I think because he's a loyal person for one thing. He's been with me for quite some time now since he came and joined us with the Rangers, and he's a loyal player. He's a guy who said, "Well, I don't have to play this year. I can, let my body recoup instead of going out there and play for somebody else." I know if he went with anybody of those teams, he would have helped that team. But he decided he wanted to go ahead and sit out and then help us produce this off season, so people will know about us and they'll see us and everything, and they'll, that's he wanted to be part of that. I talked to a few other players that talked about not playing and everything. One of the guys said, "No, if you want to, go ahead. It'll help you get yourself, back into it and right." And so, but that was their choice, So, but I appreciate what he does. He's the type of player that you want on your team. He's committed. He's coachable. He's respectful. He's not one of these guys that go out and want to fight or cuss or, certain words, to use. He's just, he's not that type of person, which, is what you need on your team. I've been around since 2010. I've coached plenty of teams. I've coached eight different years. Then I've been around some teams for 3 other years. Well, actually 4 years, because I didn't do it. I was still going to games watching, but I've watched other teams the whole time. What is he? This is 23, so it's been 13 years, and I've watched players and coaches and organizations and even owners of the way they act or do things, and like I say, he's the kind of player you want, and he's not only he's all those things I just said. He's one of the most talented players out there. I mean, you get him on an open field, and I'm telling you, you ain't catching this man. He's got moves, and so he will help this organization tremendously on the field.
Jarvis, that's your head coach, man. That's a guy that you've been with since, I'm going to say, this goes as early as 2014, 13, probably when you guys were forming before the Rangers came out. I don't know you as long as he has, but I will tell you I can pretty much vouch for everything that he said. In our time, being in each other's life, you're definitely and truly a blessing. And one of the reasons we wanted to highlight this and we wanted to start this, we call this the head ball coach and player. And each week, when the season starts, he's going to, Coach Clark's going to have another player. But we wanted to start off with you because I want to ask you a few questions. Does it ever get old? I mean, there's no one that I've known has said anything negative about you. Does it ever get old to just continuously hear great things about yourself?
No, it never gets old. It's just just doing what God put me on this earth to do. Is just follow my purpose and follow the gifts and talents that He put inside me. And that's what I feel like we're all here to do on this earth, is to follow our purpose and and our mission. And I just always strive to always just try to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Just and embrace people's lives, show a lot of respect to people, and just about loyalty. I'm always about being loyal to people because loyalty is the biggest thing. A lot of people like to just disrespect people or friends or coaches or players or like that, and I feel like as a player you have to be respectful. If you want to go to the NFL, you want to go to college, you want to go to the next level, XFL, wherever. If you're not respectful here, what make you think you're gonna make it to the next level? And that's why I try to tell players, it's like, man, if you want to make it to the next level, you got to do everything right here. You know what I'm saying? Know the defense, know the offense, be professional, be respectful, respect the fans, respect the people. You got to walk a certain way. You got to be a standard. And if you do that, you don't know if there's a coach in the stands that's going to coach from the XFL or NFL in the stands watching. You don't know if Nick Saban might be in there. You don't know that. But if you stay consistent and stay respectful and always, doing the right things, you'll be seen, and then you'll get that opportunity. And when God blesses you with that opportunity, you won't when you get to that next level, you won't make no mistakes about it. Make any mistakes on it.
You played against some various teams. Of course, you played with the Rangers, and you played with the Lampasas. What was the Lampasas Tigers? Thunder. Lampasas Thunder.
Lightning.
And or Lightning, and then you played with the Austin Vipers, and then you played with the Syntex Tigers, right?
Yes, sir.
And of course, in those teams, you had transition of coaches and you had different players. What is your why when it comes to, why you get up? I think you get up about 4:30 in the morning because I know I get a text from you every morning about 6:30. And what is your why? Why did you sit out, number one, and then number two, why do you continue to do this?
Well, I love the game. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I love to play football, and I wanted to sit out this year, just focus on myself, focus on my business, on B&B Suites, focus on my wife, and get ready to raise have a family and stuff like that, and just focus on all the little things that I didn't have time to focus on, because I was working over in Odessa in the oil field and stuff like that. So it was just time for me just take a year off, relax, and just watch everybody else play, and that's what I wanted to do this year. And to wake up every day is just like you said, it's my why. I feel like every day is my purpose is just wake up and just try to make somebody smile. Like Coach Clark said, try to make his wife smile every day. I try to make somebody smile every day because you just never know what people go through in life. There's a lot of people that lose somebody every day. Somebody's dying every day. As soon as you walk outside that door, you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. You know what I'm saying? So I always take that in perspective when I wake up every day. It's like, man, tell people that you around, that you know that you love them, because you never know, you might not see them the next day. So that's what it is for me.
Coach Clark, you said we're coming, and I was talking to my wife Tanya, and I was sitting out back here, and I was thinking, the offense, we're gonna have pillars. We're gonna have pillars that we're gonna go by. We're gonna have guidelines, right? And it's a strict criteria for what we want, which will coincide with your message, always striving, never settling. I'll just say your mantra. So I'm sitting outside and I said, the words to me came, win now. And win now means win that coaches meeting now. Win that recruitment of that player now. Win that game now. Win this down now. And I was just sitting back and I was just like, you made a statement, in our last segment. You said, we're coming. And what did you mean by that?
Exactly what it means. We're coming, and we're gonna be ready, and you better be ready for us. And that's not mean to be cocky or anything. It just means that, we want what others have, and we want to be competitive. We want to be the standard. We want to be that they know that when we come on that field, that they're in for a game. It ain't going to be no pushover. And that's why you want to get the right type of players in. The committed, the ones that where you're committed, coachable, to do what it takes to get the job done, be respectful, and want to win. You know, and so that's what it is when when I say we're coming. You know, uh, and also like this year, this season here, we're just sitting out. People see at the games. We're gonna be scouting players. We're gonna be scouting teams. We're gonna look at see who does what, on and off the field. Because like I say, when we're recruiting for players, or a player wants to come to us and talk about playing, we wanted to see what the kind of character they have. See how they are with their coaches and their teammates. You see too many times when players are out there fighting with the other teammates, fighting with the coaches, arguing back and forth, and just won't shut up. You don't need that kind of stuff. That'll tear a team up quicker than anything. Fighting and arguing and and it looks bad in the team with from the fans in the stand. So we're going to be doing the things this season here with these guys are playing and we're not, of watching the players and the coaches and the teams to see what they're doing. So when we know when we got to play, hey, this is what they do, and then the players when they come, hey, do we want that player or not? A lot of players I know, and so some of those players, yeah, they could be, but you got new players that want to come, guys that never played for me. I have a lot of guys that have been telling me they want to come play for me. A lot of guys are with the Tigers right now. They didn't know I wasn't with the Tigers. They came over to play for the Tigers. They thought I was there, but I had stepped down and everything. So I know some of those guys have already said. Some of those guys said they're going to come play and everything. So, and I want to put it out there too, because I know other people are going to be seeing this. I'm not out recruiting your players. During this season, I've never done that. A lot of other teams have done it, either the players, which that's natural, but there's been some owners and coaches that go behind my back and recruit my players. And majority of the time they don't get those players because a lot of those players are loyal to me. I mean, that's one thing I can say. I have some really loyal players. I've had some guys that have been with me the whole 8 years I've coached. Actually, I got one player really that's been there the whole 8 years, because some of them aren't around no more. But I've got some that have been with me some years. So but we're gonna, like I say, we're not gonna be all these people want to talk smack and say, hey, we're out there recruiting your players. We're not. We don't have to a lot of times, because people know my reputation. They know your reputation, Coach O. And so they're gonna come. They're gonna come. And so I will do some recruiting. Guys that aren't playing with nobody, I see somebody, that they're not playing football with anybody. Yeah, I'll recruit them. But as far as trying to recruit from another team, we won't be doing that. We'll just be, like I say, got that eye out there watching and see what's going on and everything. And then come 23, in September, and for the 24 season, you'll see the Rangers out there.
Jarvis, I'm sure you're kind of chomping at the bit. You and I have had some good times together, and we've had some trying times together. That stint that I had as an offensive coordinator with the Vipers was clearly one of the worst decisions that I made going into coaching. And a lot of players that the Vipers do have are because of me. They just end up staying there, right? What do you say, the ups and downs of this minor professional football league? I don't like using the word semi-pro, because to me, that means you're okay in being a semi-professional. I think we're all professionals, right? There are those highs and lows. Talk about some of your frustrations you had. The type of relationship you and I have, but talk about some of the frustrations you had and what you're going to do as a player to alleviate that happening again with the Rangers.
Some of the frustrations I would say I would have is just accountability. When it comes to practices. Some people, they come to practice and want to be divas, or they don't take it serious. And I feel like you practice how you play. And as a team, if we don't come to practice and we don't practice hard, it's going to show in the game. It's going to show the lack of the talent that we have. I mean, we can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't practice and you don't put the work in, you're not gonna succeed. You know what I'm saying? It's not winning the championship is not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be handed to us. It's not, oh, the Rangers is coming back 2024, or they got all the talent in the world, we're gonna win the championship. It's not gonna be guaranteed. It's gonna be through hard work, and it's gonna be through a lot of ups and downs, challenges. There's gonna be sometimes, I might get into it with you, Coach Owens. Who knows? I don't know, but our coach, Coach Carter might get into it. You never know, but it's about getting through that adversity and facing them challenges, and just staying focused on that ultimate goal, and that's winning the championship. And we're going to do that through hard work.
I think, it's safe to say that, Coach, your head coach, I mean, what I never want to do is devalue what level, because the youth levels, the middle school levels, the Pop Warner levels, the high school levels, the college levels, Division 1 through 3, junior college, every coach is special in their own right. And I think sometimes people outside have a tendency to try to devalue being a head coach at this level. What do you say to those people that look at the position of a head coach at a minor professional football level and say, this is trash, or this is just, this is volunteer, right? And then you come in and you got this system and you got this vision and you got people that don't take it seriously. What do you say about the position you serve as a head coach, and how will you be different than the rest?
Just to push my coaches to be successful. Let them do their job. That's one thing I've always done, from when I was a coach with a head coach, and didn't say he really wouldn't let us do our jobs. It's just some of his decision making. But I've seen head coaches not let their coaches do their jobs and to succeed, and then they want to override them or they want to dictate them, and you can't do that. You got to let these guys do what they're supposed to do. That's what I got them for. My job as a head coach is to watch and make sure that my coordinators are doing their jobs, and make sure that they're making sure that their assistant coaches are doing their jobs. That's why I've always been a true believer. I've said this before to you. I've always been a true believer that a head coach should never be a head coach and a DC or a head coach and an OC, because no way he can do his job if he's trying to be the head coach. And a head coach is like a manager, I guess you might want to say. He makes sure that the coaches are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and not by managing them, but make sure that they are doing their coaching. Make sure they're coaching their players, and make sure they're taking their time, having their time to, okay, this time is for this, make sure you're doing it. This time is for this, make sure you're doing it. That's where I've seen some teams where they're not letting their players, their coaches, do what they're supposed to do, and they're doing something else. So then they don't do their coaching part, what they need to coach, and then you see it in a game. Say example like special teams. You got to take some time for special teams. That's a very important part of the game. It's the third phase of a team to be successful. First you got the defense and you got the offense, but you got to have special teams. Without a good kicker, or make sure that the right players are on the field, and everybody knows what they're supposed to do when they're on the field. And so it's making sure that the coaches are doing their job, let them do their job, and watch over them and make sure that they're handling it and everything, and make sure there's no, because you don't want to see that either as favoritism. Just because you like this guy, you want to put him out there over this guy when, I've seen it. This man right here, probably the best returner in the state of Texas. There ain't no way he should not be back there receiving a kickoff where another guy they put back there instead who shouldn't be back there. You know, and it's like putting the right players in the right spot. So, you know, we got to all work together. And if we don't, we won't be successful.
Well, Jarvis, I'll tell you right now, you will not have a problem with being underutilized with me in our offensive system. You're one of the key chess pieces that we have to move around. But we have to build around you. And it starts with the offensive line, defensive line. And we got to get a quarterback. You can get all the skill positions in the world, but you got to have – our focus has got to be O-line, D-line, and getting a quarterback. You know, we're not going to play vending machine quarterback like we did in the past, right? I mean, we gotta establish some type of solitude. And Coach, we're definitely going to need your help with that. This is special because this is our first, head ball coach and player on our Ranger Up podcast. And we're going to continue. So, coaches, if you got another player that you know that is going to be, with us that is not active, because we ain't trying to, like you said, we don't want nobody else's players. We don't want the excuse because we already know that God is going to bless us with players, right? It's the right players that are going to fit with us. And some are going to fit our mold and some are not. So, Jarvis, with that being said, Coach said that you're the best returner in the state of Texas. How much time does it go into preparation? Because let's be honest, even when I was a head coach, I spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes on special teams due to the constraint of time and players not getting there on time. Now, as a high school coach, I had a 15 to 20 minute period. Then I had film study, right? I can do that. At our level, sometimes we have an issue with guys getting on time. Rightfully so, they've got jobs and things of that nature. But talk to the viewers about what goes into your preparation of special teams and how you're so dominant at returning kicks.
Like for me, before the game, I always look at like the punter for the other team, and also look at the kicker. I count in my head how long it take him to punt the ball and before it hit the ground. I see how far he punts it, and I always check like all the little things: how far he punts it, if he punts it out of bounds, what direction he likes to kick it to, if it's right or left. And I just gauge everything. I look at everything. I look for me. When we got like our players on the field, our 10 players that's supposed to be blocking, I always know which ones I know who's gonna block, how they gonna block, and I just gauge it off of that, and it's just a feel thing for me. And once I see it, I see the hole, and I just take off, man.
Anybody gonna catch you when you break past the second or third level?
No, sir. No.
So I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot of teams wanted you. You're here. Coach Clark, we've talked about this. We've had many conversations about this, and I've told you flat out, I said, hey, recruiting is not fair, right? Because to me, I'm not going to say I don't recruit, but I'm going to say I don't sell anything. We're not selling anything. We're retired military. We love what we do, but we got a player first attitude. We put the organization first. So with that being said, what's a typical practice schedule look like, Coach? I mean, as far as, you talked about the head coach being a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator, and that's pending that you have a full staff, right? Mm-hmm. But if you had to do one of those jobs as a head coach, I'm sure you could do it. Paint a picture for your players and your future players. What does a Rangers practice look like?
Well, one, you have to be here on time. We'll start off with the stretches and warming up, and then we'll break down into skill in your positions and go with your position coaches and work probably 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes, I guess, with skill positions. And then we'll break away and the defense, the line would go against each other, the offense, defensive line. Probably do some the route tree with the quarterbacks and the running backs. Probably 15, 20 minutes. Do some, what do you call it? Where you got the lineman and the running back and the quarterback. And
drills.
no, it's not like a home. It's
Inside
kind of
run.
like it's kind
Inside
almost
run.
it's almost like inside run. It's like 7-on-7 except for the linebackers, the D line, the offensive line, the quarterback, and the running backs. And then of course you have their skill players going each other on one-on-ones, 7-on-7. Then you'll break away. The defense will go off in one field, the offense at the other end of the field. Then you probably break away from there, and you got the special teams. Spend about a good 15 minutes on special teams, and then after that, you do 11-on-11.
Any situational football?